I hope I'm never sitting courtside. Shit happened so quick it felt like there was no time. Body was programmed just to always be on go time. I thank the clouds that I'm free. This ain't shit that all the homies can be. Running from the lies, slip and get up. Thinking about the bullshit, leading right up. Mama told me one day you run out of luck. Now I'm looking up, quick tail catching up. Born into that trench mind, niggas had no straight mind. Only thing we know is break a bitch and push that bread line. Head be filled with crazy shit like shorty, had my head tied like bitch. So now you ain't coming to me about no bedtime. Ain't no keep it real, I really feel like the pressure is really on me. I know pressure is a bitch, but I don't let feelings control me. I know I've been getting cold and my niggas was flaking on me. So I had to bet some bitches at some parties. But don't blame me for it, don't blame me for it. I'm too cheap for it. Just watch me going, no brakes. Just keep top speed flowing. Bless me, test me, line me up, I know that I'm the next thing. Praying till don't catch me and arrest me. Hope that every night I make it in my best sleep. I hope I'm never sitting courtside. Shit happened so quick it felt like there was no time. Body was programmed just to always be on go time. I thank the clouds that I'm free. This ain't shit that all the homies can be. I hope I'm never sitting courtside. Shit happened so quick it felt like there was no time. Body was programmed just to always be on go time. I thank the clouds that I'm free. This ain't shit that all the homies can be. Running from the lies, slip and get up. You ain't about the bullshit, leading right up. Mama told me one day you run out of luck. Now I'm looking up, control catching up. Alright, I ain't resist, but don't take my chain. No, you can't search my shit. Know how it goes. These just praying that shit. Give me my chance before my grave is dig. Bless me, test me.
Yeah, y'all, it's time to get it. All right, now I ain't gonna be playing music all day. I gotta get with it, so I'm not gonna be here all that long. But I wanted to come on. Hey, y'all. Happy hump day. Happy holidays, too. A lot of folks is celebrating. I pretty much don't celebrate any holidays. Hey, Elise. Focus Mind. Adrian Glenn. Hey, John. Original Intellect. Hey, go forward. There you go. All right. I caught you. Hey, my Lisa. David. Kai. Hey, y'all. So we're going to get into some interesting stuff. And I first want to start off by saying thanks for vibing with me and everybody watching, because it's important. Should the neglected people establish a new state, city, or municipality? I left government out because there's already a government on this land. And the last time um, a government uh, was established other than the United States, hey, Enoch, it was a war because the southern states ceded from the Union and started their own government and they went to war. So yeah, I get it. Some people want to just start a new government and get out the system. I'm unfortunately have no interest in that. I don't. And I really don't. I don't hate the United States system. However, I dislike, and I'm not the only one, how it's operated years and years and years. I dislike how it's operated. I we don't as a people in our communities, and I'm speaking the inner cities, and there's other individual people that are tired too and want a fresh start, like I said. And the options you have inalienable rights, and you do the are we do have a right to start another municipality or another state. Those two, I think, would be great. I personally would like, because I'm not going to war with the United States. Why? Like I said, I don't hate the United States system. I love my country. It's just that years and years have passed by, and our people here on this mainland are not being properly represented. And it's always it is, we're not being properly representative, especially people that look like us. I'm sorry, they've done a lousy job and they still do to this day. A lot of people that are put forth and put in office to represent us that look like us, they're not us. And we don't see eye to eye with these individuals. There is a difference. And I know people, you know, say, oh, we're all brown, we all look alike. No, we're not all the same. And we are culturally not alike. So therefore, when you put representatives in office that are not us, there is a difference, a humongous difference of the original people of this soil than it is the brown people that come in from different parts of the Americas and from other countries. We are culturally not alike, which is why we are reluctant to get together, and that's just a fact. Okay, now folks have gone through different types of um, atrocities in their country that look like us, but their experience is not our experience here in America. And the problem is we're culturally different, so we're never gonna see eye to eye, and we're never, it's just a fact, because if we did, we would done a lot of things that we have a right to do. And I personally, and a lot of people personally, feel that because the representation has been so horrible, and it has been, it's been horrible. There's a what United States continues to neglect that we are different. We're a different cultural people than the brown people that they try to put us all in one box. And that's a very arrogant way to judge a people that's already been here. Indians. And we had leaders. We had Martin Luther King. We had Christian leaders. Okay. And we're still stuck with mindsets of civil rights movement from the 60s are boomers. They're stuck. And they can be helpful to us, but in another way, and we'll talk about that today, because we don't want to kick the boomers to the curb. I personally think that the best thing for us would be to create another state. I think we would be better off creating another state, becoming a 51st state. Literally. Canada already said no. That they don't want to be 51st state. And I can't blame them. I do not blame Canada. I don't. But for my people, our people, we as a people, we are better off. And I think we'll have better, it would be much better for us as a people to create another state. We need another state. We need something from scratch specifically for our people. Now, we can't keep people on our state, because if we're going to be admitted and we're going to get our state based on our right to the admission clause, if we're going to do that, we have to follow the U.S. Constitution. Facts. There's a lot of benefits in starting all over again. And I say this because of everything that was done to us. When it comes to voting, it's horrible. It's been horrible. It's like we have, as a people, we have no trust in this system to represent us and to be honest with us. Okay. We've been, because of our skin color, a lot of us are judged based on the behaviors of our relatives that are just wilding in the street. And we need a fresh start. We need a fresh start. Now, when I say a fresh start, I don't mean bring hoodlums with us. No, that's not what we want to do. Okay. Nobody wants to check Betty Jean's drug gangster shooting son at the door. Pastor don't want to. He's scared. Because if pastor checks Betty Jean's son at the door, then pastor loses a congregation member who's paying her tithes. So pastor ain't going to do it, because Pookie and them, they don't want to go to church. They don't want to go to church and be civil. And I can't blame them, because I don't want to go to church either. Okay? Church is just as bad as the streets now. But I feel the best method for us is to create a state. That will work in the best interest. Creating a state. Now, I know Dane is doing the 13%, and I know he wants government. And I'm wishing him all the best, because he is intelligent. Very intelligent brother. I swear he is. My thought is the safest thing would be another state. And that's a fact. Everybody and your state can't just be a bunch of Indians that look like me. No, that's not the way the Constitution goes, because people have a right to buy land. If we're going to sell land, we can't be racist and not sell land in our state to other people. We will be another state. All races will be in it. But the point and the object is to get a fresh start and put politicians in office in our state that we can feel comfortable with, where we won't have to allow, whether it's cheating on the ballots. None of that. We don't have to go through none of that. We'll start a fresh new state, because the people that are in power now in each of the states, they have them on lockdown. Whoever they want in those offices are getting in them seat. It don't matter. They're going to get that job. But see, With our new state, that ain't going to happen because we won't allow it. Other states say that that's not happening. We're right. We're fair. We count. I can't believe anybody or trust in anybody anymore, ever. We have to trust in ourselves. And the best way for us to get the proper representation at the state level and the federal level is to start another state so we don't have to deal with the people that are currently running our states. And it can be done, but you have to be motivated. This is why I say I have to move myself away from panels because I just can't. I took a reality check. I am Generation X. Okay, let's get it up. We always have to have the visuals, right, you guys? I'm Generation X. All right. And we are the parents of the millennials. And I much rather move away from the millennials because that's predominantly what's on YouTube, millennials and Gen Z. Can no longer argue with them because it stops me from reaching my goals. Now, I do take breaks off of YouTube and just go watch somebody else. Just watch the millennials, but engaging in that manner is done. I'm like so done. So I'm Gen X, and there's a lot of generations there. And we have the young boomers and we have the mid-age boomers. Just like we have the young Gen X, let's see the difference. See, with the boomer generation, you have older boomers, mid-age boomers, and young boomers. With Gen X, you only have older Gen X and younger Gen X. Okay? The boomers and Gen X are the ones who have to, if we're talking about wanting to leave something for the millennials to run, we boomers and Gen X have to get it popping. Because it's just like, seriously, it's like it's like me telling my daughter, start a state. I know my daughter, she's millennial. They're not going to start no damn state. If they do, more power to them. Okay? We have to do this. We boomers and Generation X have to get it popping. We have the patience. We have the time. But the beauty of it is we leave the state to the wise millennials because millennials are wise. They are so wise and they're swift and very business minded. Millennials are very hands-on people. I find that generation to be the hands-on generation. Okay. They're the hands-on. So it's like we Generation X and boomers, grandma, we need to create the state so the millennials can run it and we can rest and support them. Now, I'm not saying that there are no millennials that are very mature and beyond their age and want part in helping with the development and reaching the goals of the creation of the state, because there's a lot of them. You have a lot of millennials, and they're what you call the older millennials. You have the older millennials and the younger millennials. The older millennials are are those that are on the cuff of being Gen X, but they're just not. You have them. So my idea, my goal, one of the first thing, I got a bunch of stickies up here, you guys. You got to know when you're getting ready to start a state, you need to know the people that you're working with to start the state. I don't care. They say age doesn't make it. To me, it does. You need to know who you're dealing with. You need to know their reliability. You need to know their mental health. You do. So I want to go over a few slides first, and then we'll come back to that with the creation. Okay, because we need to learn about our rights and what our problem has been as a people. Because we're stuck in our states and we look to our states to do things in our favor, and they just don't. Because if they did, we wouldn't be going through what we're going through. And I'm keeping it a buck. It's best to start another state. Serious. So let's get back to where I want to go. Let's first remember that I spoke about the last time I spoke. I said that you have two types of indigenous people in America. You have those that are indigenous to the United States. They're indigenous to the 50 states. They're indigenous to the United States of America. And then you have those that are indigenous to the soil. Okay? So that's a fact. People born here are indigenous to the 50 states, to the United States. They're indigenous to this company. They were born in it. So they are indigenous to it. They weren't born on their ancestral lands. They were born in the 50 states. So they're indigenous to the 50 states. And then you have those that are indigenous to the Americas. That would be us. We're indigenous to the mainland, North America, where United States sit. And then you have those born in Central and South America and the island territories that are indigenous to America as a whole. Let's say the continent. All right. So all people born in 1866, all people born in the United States are citizens and had certain inalienable rights, including the right to make contracts, to own property, to sue in court, and to enjoy the full protection of federal law. Okay, listen to me. Federal law. If you read this fast, a lot of us, when we say federal law, we automatically think of state law. No, you have to understand that there was another, level of government established to protect you from issues where you can't get your rights corrected in the specific states. And it could be discrimination laws, all these different things. You go federal because the state is always going to look out for itself. The state in these situations, in a lot of situations, are not in your best interest. They're out to save their own on all levels. So you must go federal. So now I'm going to move past this. All right, now let's just do a little bit more warm up again. You have people who are foreigners. Hey, Amani. Hey, Tasco. Hey, love. Stop that, Charlene, Othello baby from Frank Kettle. Okay. So now you have, for the problem that we face for a very long time is foreigners writing books about our history. They always, and it's always been foreigners who are not us writing about our history. We, the indigenous, the aborigines of the American soil. They're always writing articles, everything. The interest has always been on our race. And things have been changed in history about us. Our identity has just been this like huge secret. And people have to understand. People have a lot of people have terrible reading and comprehension skills. Very bad. Very bad. I hear it, I see it, and I witness it. They have a lot. I'm not saying all. And one thing when I'm speaking, please don't get offensive. When I open up the panel at the end, if you're not brave enough to come up here and professionally speak, then I mean, I don't know what else to say, but a freedman is just a status of an individual's life. That's all it is. It's not an identity. Okay? It's a status or a position in life that a being is in. You know, when we say Indians, a lot of us always think about the North because the North was so powerful, and it still is. So they always quickly think of the Northern Indians, and they forget so much about the Southern Indians, because in the South, the majority of the Indians were very dark. Okay, we have mulatto, and we have very Indians that look exactly like me, that are the aborigines to the land, and they come in many shades. But when you say Indians, the first thing you think is the North. And only reason why people have that thought in their head, they think of the Northern, is because when the Europeans first came here, they arrived in North on Plymouth Rock. It's their first stop. And they were greeted by Indians that looked like me. Okay. They looked like mulattoes. Okay. So they think that's what they think, and they forget all about the South. Well, that's because the majority of the Indians in the South were wiped out of history. So in society's eyes, they're all dead, other than the civilized that the United States decided to recognize. But other people have come back later in years and took a stand to reclaim their identities as a people. So there's a lot of recognized tribes that you don't hear about that are on the list. So when you see these photos, the first picture that people have in their head is, oh, they're African slaves. That's just not true. These are Choctaws, and they are freed from the former system. It's free from the former system that was established prior to the 13 colonies. The Indians were enslaved. The Indians were enslaved first. Understand that. They were enslaved by their own people. Enslaved means employed. That's all it is. It's just word change, which throws everybody off. The Indians were the first to be employed by their own people. They were farmers and sharecroppers. And they were under a system that was already established. So when you see these photos, you see Choctaw freedmen fishing, bow fishing. Okay, this is in 1902. Yeah, he's freed from the former system, but he's still Choctaw. Doesn't mean he's African. No, a free Choctaw, that's not under the former system. You better know it. Then you have free Choctaws. They're lining up for allotments. Chickasaws, freedmen. They're freed. What are they freed from? From a former system that really sucked. But they're still free. So you got Choctaw freedmen, Chickasaw freedmen, you got Cherokee freedmen. They were all under a system ran by those governments. There were active governments here already established before the Europeans got here. When the Europeans got here, this is the system that went down. Okay, so understand that. And you have, we're still looking at let's see, are these still Choctaws? Yeah. Okay, so we have a Muskegee here. Freedman, a Creek freedman. He's free from the former system. That's just another tag that they put on him. Okay. Carrie Hall. She's Chickasaw. She's freed from that former system. Offers were made, and a lot of them migrated to the north. There's a Creek up there. Creek freedmen. More Chickasaws, bow-legged, Caesar. They're who they are. They're not Africans. And you better believe if they were Africans, they would have been listed as, African freedmen. No. Didn't exist. They are who they are. And people don't like this. Then the sad part is it's the Generation X that's still hanging on to the fake dashiki. But we're just going to have to let them go. We are. And move on. Okay, so that's enough of that. I want to get to where I need to be. Okay, so inalienable rights. People hear this, but they never bother to look to see what are inalienable rights. A lot of people, they read. That's another thing. After our, I think it's, our Chinese Mandarin class will begin in February, but our Algebra 2 class begins in January, 4 weeks of that. And then we go into Chinese Mandarin, and then we're going to definitely have reading and comprehension because our people have a weakness. They have a weakness. And not just our people, a lot of people, but there's a weakness in our community when it comes to reading and comprehension. And we got to work on it. So inalienable rights are rights that cannot be taken away or transferred and are fundamental to every constitution. They are also known as indefeasible rights. So every constitution, when you're in a mission process, you have to note this. Your constitution pretty much got to be the duplicate of the U.S. Constitution. That's the only way you're getting it. You would have been admitted as a state. So, inalienable rights. So here are some examples of what inalienable rights are so that you could understand. Inalienable rights are the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The right to a clean environment. Has our inner city hoods been clean ever? Ever. That's why you have the suburbs and they look so beautiful and their environments are so clean. But we've been suffering an unclean environment. My mother was little, she went through it. Damn, that's the 40s, then the 30s, and the 20s. It's been for so long. So we got a right to a clean environment. That would be the creation of another damn state because the inner cities and the current states that we live in suck. They're filthy. Everything is laying on the streets. It's just disgusting. The um the HUD housing that they put up, public housing, is disgusting. And enough is enough. The right to pursue necessities, the right to acquire, possess, and protect property. You got a right to seek safety, health, and happiness. You have a right to speech. You have a right to worship. You have the right to travel. You have the right to self-defense and the right to privacy. Those are inalienable rights. There's more, but those are major inalienable rights. Now, my thought is let's read the admission clause because this clause is still in effect today. The admission clause that gives you permission to create new states. It's Article 4, Section 3, Clause 1. New states may be admitted by the Congress into this union. That's what all the other 50 states did. And this is part 3, you guys. This is how you got the 50 states because it was the admission clause. But no new state shall be formed or erected within the jurisdiction of any other state, nor any state be formed by the junction of 2 or more states or parts of states without the consent of the legislators of the states concerned, as well as the Congress. So creating that, those are my thoughts. Either you create a new state where you start fresh with your own state legislator. Because when you look at your state legislator, it does not really look like you in there. You see a few dots like pepper and majority saw. It's just bad. It doesn't reflect the communities it serves. If you look at your local state governments, it really doesn't reflect. If you look at it, your state governments and legislator, it does not reflect what the community looks like. I'm sorry. And it hasn't. So in order to make that happen, you need to create a new state. If you want a legislator to legislate, start all over. And the great thing about it, if you're looking to admit a state into the union, other states and your current state that you live in, you can look at a lot of the legislation and make legislation for your state. Because there's a lot of laws in the 50 states that are really great laws. So it's not going to be a problem creating laws in your state. Or the second suggestion would be creating another city. That's always, I think the easiest would be to create another city, and you will win in federal court. You have more evidence than the people in Louisiana had. You just don't know that yet. But the greater thing to do would be like what Dane would be doing. But to get it popping, my desire would be to create another city. I don't need to read that. We already did that. Now, to be admitted to the United States, this is if you create a state. This is if you're going to say, you know what? I don't even want to be part of the state. I wouldn't even want to create a city and be a part of this particular state. Let's say I don't want to be a part of Connecticut. And I'm like, you know what? No, I don't even want to make a city in Connecticut. I'd rather just start a 51st state. So now, to be admitted to the United States as a state, a territory must meet several requirements, including population. The territory must have a large enough population to support its own government and the federal government. Facts. Because your own government and the federal government, because you're going to have to pay taxes to both at the state level and the federal level. Our tax dollars employs the federal government. Constitution. The territory must create a constitution that establishes a Republican form of government, meaning you got to have an executive branch, a legislative branch, a judicial branch, and a militia. Boom, boom. Referendum. The territory's people must vote in a referendum to express their desire for statehood. That would be easy. Congressional approval. Congress must pass a joint resolution to accept the territory as a state. Presidential signature. The President of the United States must sign the joint resolution. All right. So now I will go move into the creating the city, a city in the United States. Because the first one was creating a state. Now my second thought was creating a city like they did in Oklahoma. To create a city in the United States, you would need to identify a suitable piece of land, gather community support, develop a comprehensive plan, including zoning and infrastructure, petition the state government to incorporate the area as a city, and gain approval through a public vote, adhering to specific state laws regarding municipal incorporation, which vary by location. Essentially, you would need to start with a largely undeveloped area and go through a legal process to establish it as a recognized municipality with the ability to govern itself. This to me, it's work, but it's not as I mean, it's not as much work as it is to creating a state, a whole different state. Oh, that's a whole nother ball game. I would love to have another state or another city because a state is another state is always better. Always better. I much rather prefer a state, another state, because that could be done. Or another city. Now, creating a city in the United States, continuing, identify a location, find a suitable piece of land with potential for development. Considering factors like access to water, transportation routes, topography, and existing infrastructure. Gather community support, organize residents in the proposed city area to advocate for incorporation and gather signatures for a petition. Develop a city plan. Create a detailed plan outlining the city's design, zoning, land use, transportation system, and potential economic development strategies. And the legal process. Check state laws. Each state has specific requirements for incorporating a new city, including minimum population thresholds and procedures to follow. Submit a petition. File a petition with the appropriate state agency, including proposed city boundaries, government structure, and a name. Public hearings. Attend public hearings to present your city plan and address any concerns from the community and relevant authorities. Public vote. A majority vote in the proposed city area is usually required to approve the incorporation. Financing. Secure funding for infrastructure development, including roads, utilities, public buildings, and other necessary amenities. Environmental impact. Evaluate the potential environmental impact of your proposed city and plan mitigation strategies. Governance structure. Decide on a suitable form of government for the city. Like you can choose if you want a mayor and council or council manager system. There's two types. I know Glastonbury has a council manager system. Some towns don't have mayors, they have what you call managers. Economic viability. Assess the potential economic drivers for the city, including job creation, businesses, and tourism. Oh, yeah. Get approval. Establish a government. Now, this is if you're creating a municipality rather than a city. A municipality, if you're going to create a municipality, you get approval. Establish a government. Build infrastructure. Create laws. And in most municipalities, they're ordinances. So I'm going to take a ladies' break and then get into talking. So let me take a little ladies' break. I'm drinking this water And I will open the panel and have some dialogue with folks. But we're going to be professional up here. So give me a minute. I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm gonna put the link in the chat in a minute, but I'm just gonna vibe and say what I'm gonna say. Me personally, after what we've gone through for so long, I prefer another state. I really would. Can you imagine how many people across the 50 states that would much rather, because see, now when you start another state, you don't have to deal with another state's politics because now you have your own state. You don't got to deal with their politics. Leave it to them and start another state. I think that is the best move ever. You be surprised how, and I'm gonna tell you, starting another state wouldn't be a problem because there are people across these 50 states that will sign a petition. Hey, Chief, there are people across these 50 states that will sign a petition to create another state just so they don't have to deal with their current government and local government, local municipalities. It's easier to walk away from them and start another state and begin managing your taxes that need to be given to your own state and the federal government. It's so much easier not to deal with and hope. I mean, think about it. For so many years, we fought for politicians to get in office, and it's the same game. It's a damn game. So when you start your own state, you become the 51st state. Now you get a senator and representative in your new state to go sit at Washington for you rather than who's already there. You're getting away from your local municipality, from the mayors. You're getting a fresh start. You have your own voting, and you know it's going to be right. It's your new state, and you want to do everything in your power to make sure it doesn't get horrible like it is and it has been. You don't have to sit there looking at the same congressmen that have been sitting in them seats since the 70s. That's not good. I say start another state, because that's the only, start another state. I would start another state, because if you start a municipality, another city, you're still going to be dealing with the same governor that comes in office and the same bullshit. You need a fresh start. I believe the 51st state, because people from across the states are going to come in and join in with you. Getting businesses and getting infrastructure and irrigation, electrical, all kinds of codes, that's not going to be a problem, because all the professionals are across the 50 states. Now you have a nice suburban home area. So what you do is pull away from all the bullshit that you've been living in, the filthy condition, and your inalienable right is just so violated. Look at the inner city hoods. People throw stuff down on the ground. People drive through the neighborhoods that don't even live there. People live on the street. You don't have to allow that in your state. And you have a choice not to be a sanctuary city. You only want United States citizens living in your state. Now, your state has to be open to all people, as long as they're citizens, tax-paying citizens, because there's a lot of people across the states that want to get away and want a fresh start. Do you know how good that would feel to get a fresh start? It's nothing to get million people to sign a petition and say, yo, you sick of your state governor and your congressman, local state reverend? It's nothing to get that popping. Do you know how many trades, professional trades that are across these 50 states? You don't need you getting homes on the land is not going to be a problem. The best of the best are across the 50 states. It's their daily jobs. You get to have your own police force, your own legislator. It wouldn't be a problem getting 1 million people to start another state. That's an easy thing, getting the people. The thing would be going through Congress to get the approval. But I say, if you want to do something like that, it could be done. I'm an organizer. I've always been an organizer. Always. You'll be able to vote for your own governor within your state, new state. I say do it, because it's been so much that we've been deprived from. So now we'll have a fresh start for our own state and not have to worry about anybody at the federal level representing us, because we're going to have our own people go and represent us. It's nothing to be afraid of doing. You want to get away from your current local council. Yeah, I'm about to put the link in the chat now, because I know Chief got some things he want to say. We gonna go at it. Me and Chief gonna go at it now. Chief is my brother, and Smoke is too. Everybody, we gonna keep it professional, but me and Chief gonna fight. It's just like I'm telling you. Here's the link. I'm gonna put it in and give people a chance to come on up. I'm not letting anybody up here for foolishness. Let's see. Let me pin it. Pin the message. All right. So I put my headphones on. And there's the link. We could talk about this. Because I'm sorry. You can't. All right. It's open. I play some music because I want to vibe with people that want to vibe. Come on, anybody can hit that link. I want to smoke. Bring it. Let's see. Play my little jazz. Hit the link, y'all. It's open.
Elevate my hustle, gotta get your stress. Cause you the kind of girl I wanna make to my wife. Ain't no point that anyone can make a know they ain't right. They can't tell me how I feel or walk a day in my life. For all the miles I kill, told you many times you really mine for real. Cause something about your eyes always shine for real. Stick it out with me as you gon' sign the deal. For all the minds I kill, told you many times you really mine for real. Cause something about your eyes really shine for real. Stick it out with me as you gon' sign the deal, yeah. Little crazy light, baby, feeling on it lately. Heavy on my mental, so I'm in a booth for wavy. See me, I don't give a fuck, I'm open, I ain't shady. These niggas see us, so they hating. Sipping bottles again, dug in all of the feds. Putting loaves inside the cover, we ain't splitting no bread. Getting all these different fabrics off your neck and your head. Hope that karma ain't gon' get me for what's coming ahead. My baby says she wanna love song. 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 I'ma sing her this love song. Yeah, I'm singing to you. Elevate my hustle, gotta get your stress. Cause you the kind of girl I wanna make to my wife. Ain't no point that anyone can make a know they ain't right. They can't tell me how I feel or walk a day in my life. For all the miles I kill, told you many times you really mine for real. Cause something about your eyes always shine for real. Stick it out with me as you gon' sign the deal. For all the minds I kill, told you many times you really mine for real. Cause something about your eyes really shine for real. Stick it out with me as you gon' sign the deal, yes. Something really shine for real.
Okay, so y'all know me. I'm like Candace. I'm good up here by myself. I'm good up here by myself because I can hold a segment. So let me get to my stickies. So when forming a new state, it's not hard. When forming a new city, it's not hard. The object of forming a new city is moving away from the bullshit. So I could do both. I could deal with both. Because when you get a new city, you get a new mayor, a new governor, and you move away from the current one. And you take the people with you. And you can imagine, oh my goodness. To start, my first choice would be to start a 51st state. Do you know how many businesses that want to get away from the current government in the state that they're in? You can take all those businesses with you. You look across the 50 states, there's a lot of businesses that want to get the hell away from a specific state. They want to take their business and go. Everybody needs a fresh start because we're all affected by our state governments, our local governments. Really, we're affected by them. So this is why I say all the neglected and affected people should dip. Most of them are middle class, blue collar workers. They're very affected. If you're ordinary, I'm not the middle class has been increased the money. So folks that were used to be in middle class are now working class. I'm working class. I'm a working class. The working class people do not receive any benefits for assistance, no Section 8, no food stamps, none of the above. We're working class and we're the most affected. And we're the ones that work every day. And it's like they want to wipe out the working class and they just want rich and poor. I say, do you know how many working class and the working class people are the ones that are severely affected by their state governments and local municipalities and cities. So the working class people are the ones that really need to start the 51st state because nobody fights for the working class. Say the union does. The union bullshit. The working class people are the people that need to start the 51st state. That's not going to be hard to do because now the working class people can say, now I feel like I want to go to work every day. I'm comfortable because I'm in a new state. We started this new 51st state. And these people that are passing these laws that are affecting the working class no longer can do this to us because we have our own state now. And we're going to watch and make sure our monies are applied right when we are delegated funds from the federal government. Got to start all over because everything is dirty. Everything is dirty. So my call would be for all the working class, and that would be small business owners, medium-sized business owners. You get to pull a lot of them with you. Do you know how many construction companies would freaking leave and say, you know what, I'm going to the new state? Because now they'll have a better control of how they're being represented, and they have better control rather than so many different people coming in and controlling them and not doing absolutely nothing that they say they're going to do when they're campaigning. You got to have a leader to start it off. That leader has the vision. It starts off just the same way that they canvass during campaigns. Oh, it's fun. See, to me, it's fun because you write flyers and you literally write flyers and invite people across the world, small business owners, medium-sized companies, insurance companies. You plan this huge meeting to people that are affected by the way their current states deal with them. You write a flyer, say, hey, we're considering, creating a 51st state. It's time. There's no one looking out for the best interests of the majority of the workers, which are the working class and the working poor. No one's looking out for our interests. But people keep getting benefits off of our tax dollars. So you write the flyer, you plan this huge meeting. You're going to have to rent a place to hold the multitudes. The states are supposed to let you use their facilities because you're the taxpayers of them. So there's many ways you can do it. You can have it in multiple states, these meetings. You could have you could have it in 4 different states. You make the flyer and you get it out to businesses across the United States. Or just think about all the businesses out there. You have all the Chinese restaurants, you got all the soul food restaurants, you got clothing stores, you have people that work in work from home now. So moving to another state is not a problem. You have insurance companies, you have everything. You have all levels of people that have been affected for years. It's always been the working class that has been affected. Everything falls on the working class's back. You create the flyer, you plan a date. You got to do a lot of planning before you have the event, because you're going to have the event. And you know what? You can make it comfortable. If you're doing all the planning, nobody should have a problem coming to fly into your state to meet with you to create this 51st state. And that's a fact. Do you know how many businesses would come to your event? Because accountants, or you're going to get all kinds of people that are going to want to come to your event and talk about this 51st state, because in their mind they're going to be like, you know what? I'm working class, I'm middle class. You know what? It should be a bunch of us in one state. Why the hell not? We need to get ourselves in Congress. We get to pick our own person to go and represent us in Congress. And I think probably the best people to represent us in Congress are lawyers and accountants. Those would be our greatest representatives in Congress if we were to create a 51st state. A lawyer and an accountant. An accountant knows how one is affected being a working class and how much harm is being done to the small businesses. So if a state is harming you as small businesses, you need to be in a 51st state, because that government doesn't give a rat's butt about you. Every working class citizen deserves a fresh start away from the same continuous people with the same tongue running and representing you. You need different tongue. You need some real tongue up there in Congress. So the greatest thing to do would be to have a meeting, sit down with a few people. It only takes a few. When you get ready to plan such a thing, the people you want in that meeting with you, and it's easy for me, you want an accountant, you want an attorney, because a lot of lawyers are going to want to be in this. You want probably every you in the meeting that where you're designing the flyer to get out across the 50 states. You're going to want a lawyer, you're going to want an accountant, you're going to want a professional construction worker, CEO or something that handles infrastructure. You want electricians in your meeting, probably from every trade. You call all the trades and you have this meeting. And then the fun part comes after you've all designed this flyer to get out to the people. When you had that meeting, hey, it's time for a 51st state. You go around in your specific states and knock on people's doors. You know who the good people are. You don't want to bring the 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 the, the headaches with you. You want people who wants to move into a great environment that has a great school system for your children. You want to be in an environment where you can go outside your house and not hear gunshots. You want a fresh start. Some of you are going to have to leave your daughters and sons where they are. You have all the construction workers that are able to build the school in your community. When I'm talking, you're going to have all the trades in this new 51st state. You're going to have all the trades because people want to live in safe environments. Yeah, you're going to have militia. You got retired army people for that. To build your militia, that's not going to be a problem. Having your own militia, your own state police, you get everything fresh. I think that's probably one of the greatest ideas, starting another state. I can't do a government like what Dane is going to do because that's scary for me. Because I remember the last war with the South when they tried it. It was just horrible. It was a civil war, and I'm scary. But he's younger and he's more wiser. He knows. Yes, Hawkeye. The link is pinned to the top. And it's not hard to do. See, the fun part, I love canvassing. And I know whose doors to knock on and whose doors not to knock on. A state can take care of itself. Contractors, construction workers, electricians, they know this. Oh, yeah. You can, you don't have to be within the 50 states to build another state. There's islands that are not being occupied that you could just buy and it becomes a 51st state. A lot of land in America. Yes, Hawkeye. Facts. You can build another state or another city. Both of them would be great because you build another city, you pull away, and you be taking. When you build another city, you're going to be taking half of the people with you because a lot of the people want to get away from the current mayor, current city council. You get a lot of feedback. You have news coverage and everything. It's gonna be like, this lady, you to get. It's easier to get It's easy to get 1 million people to want to build another state because they'll sign, fill out papers. The back of the flyer you make, it will be part of the petition. You're going to want people's contact information, and they're going to be sending it to you. So you're definitely going to need a P.O. box. You find out the interest. You got to get the interest of the people. You send it out to all of them. People all over the world. Hey, let's build another state. And you have to write your story. Write the story. And you'd be surprised how many people would be so into it. I mean, you're going to get like small business owner companies. Building another state, I think, is the best thing for our community. We get our own museum, our own tourism. You have everybody with the trades. They can build a museum. They can build condominiums. They could build everything. They could build infrastructure, stores, everything. And they make a lot of money doing it because the community pays for itself, along with what Congress will appropriate to you. So I didn't want to be on that long, but I'm gonna draw up a dummy form to send out across the states, and you'd be surprised who will reach back to you in your P.O. box. I'm gonna build up a dummy form, and I'm gonna ask the community to help me pass them out in different stores. Whatever state you're in, leave them in different stores. Give them to people in business suits walking by. A lot of people want to get away from their current state governments and municipalities and have better leadership. So I'm going to get out of here because I'm cooking for tomorrow. I made some kick butt stuffings. Oh, gosh. Turkey legs. I didn't make a whole turkey, just a bunch of turkey legs. Ribs. What else? Mac and cheese. String beans. Oh, yeah. String beans. Potato salad. It's going to be really good tomorrow. But I love you guys. I'll be back with part 4 tomorrow. No, not tomorrow. I'll be watching other channels. I probably will be back Friday with part 3. I love you guys. I don't want to stand here long, but think about this segment. I want to give other people a chance to watch it to see where we're going. But think big. I say build another state. Facts. Love y'all. To the moon and back. See you Friday.